Good morning, everybody, and thank you for being here. We have such a large crowd that we're all the way up to the third floor. So we're really here to celebrate an important milestone in the history of the University of Missouri. Before I go any further, I want to introduce a few people who have so graciously joined us today. Seated in front of me, Mark Wilkins, Managing Director, the Wilkins Group. Mark also is a member of the Mizzou Our Time to Lead campaign cabinet. Susan Empson, the Richard G. Miller Chair of Mathematics Education in the MU College of Education. Alicia Curran, who is the project coordinator at the Thompson Center for Autism and Neurodevelopmental Disorders. Tom Hiles, Vice Chancellor for Advancement. We'll hear from each one of them in a few minutes. We also have a number of university leaders with us today, including President Moon Choi of the whole university system, Garnett Stokes, our provost, and a number of members of the Chancellor's staff, deans, and directors. There also are a number of volunteers with us today, including Richard Miller, one of the tri-chairs for the Mizzou Our Time to Lead campaign cabinet. Thank you, everyone, for being here. As you know, the Mizzou Our Time to Lead campaign launched in October of 2015 with a goal of raising $1.3 billion to ensure student success and to enhance the outstanding work of our faculty and staff. We have raised more than $970 million toward our goal to date. One of the top priorities for this campaign is building Mizzou's endowment, and we have raised just over $300 million this campaign toward this purpose. So, first things first, what is an endowment? Mizzou's endowment is actually a collection of endowed funds. In contrast to expendable gifts to the university, endowed gifts are invested. The university spends 4% of each endowed fund's value annually according to the donor's wishes. This long-term strategy not only preserves the endowment's principle in perpetuity, but enables it to grow through the investment returns. A robust endowment translates to excellence year after year, regardless of fluctuations in external factors, by allowing us to recruit and retain stellar students and faculty. Our endowment also allows us to invest in interdisciplinary programs and learning environments that advance our mission as a university. As I said, this is a long-term strategy. The first endowment at MU was established in 1888 with a gift of $6,000. For perspective, the columns were still attached to Academic Hall at that point. Today, this endowment is worth nearly $250,000. Through decades of generous giving, as well as sound investments, the university's endowment has grown to record levels. Today, I am happy to announce that the University of Missouri's endowment has crossed the $1 billion mark for the first time in its history. This is a truly remarkable accomplishment that sends a clear signal that Mizzou ranks among the best universities in the nation. Mizzou is the 7th school in the SEC to achieve a $1 billion endowment. Of the 1,644 public higher education institutions in the nation, MU is the 37th with a $1 billion endowment. Our students and faculty are most inspired to do great things when we give them the support they need to pursue their passions. Generations of donors have graciously invested in our students and faculty through endowed gifts, and we certainly cannot thank them enough for their long-term vision and generosity. Now, to illustrate the power of endowed gifts, we will hear from 3 special guests. Mark Wilkins will tell us about the mentorship he received from former MU Director of Admissions, Georgeanne Porter, and Mark will also talk about his commitment, along with several other donors, to establish the Porter Scholarship in Georgeanne's honor. Dr. Susan Empson will speak about how the Richard G. Miller Chair of Mathematics Education helped attract her to Mizzou and continues to enhance her work. Finally, Alicia Curran will provide a parent's perspective on the impact of the Thompson Center, which was created through an endowed gift from Bill and Nancy Thompson. Please join me in welcoming Mark Wilkins to the podium.
Good morning, everybody. I can't even begin to express how thrilled I am to be here today, to share this incredible celebration with the university that I love. Chancellor, I want to thank you for hitting the ground running. Mr. President, I'd like to thank you for hitting the ground running and picking things up and really taking the ball and advancing it. Tom, I really also want to especially thank you for the way you've stood in there with this university and continued to raise money. This university is an incredibly resilient place, but it's not the university. It's made up of individual people, human beings, who are resilient, who care, who give back, not only doing their jobs, but going well above and beyond. And so congratulations to the university for hitting that $1 billion mark, and as everybody in here that knows me would know that I would say this, you've got to hit $1 billion before you can hit $10 billion. And we're on our way. Why do I get to stand here today? It's through one of the major inflection points in my life, which was coming from a small town in rural Missouri, Waynesville, and getting to come to a university. And I was scared. Just like every other student that comes here, whether they admit it or not, I was scared to come here. And it was human beings and it was people who helped me. And that became a major inflection point in my life. I was helped in different ways. And so I've actually, none of these will solve world peace, but in my own way, I've tried to give back by setting up 3 separate funds so far. One was for a foundational organization for me in my life at the university, which was Army ROTC. And that definitely set the tone for me being able to move forward, first as an Army officer and then in my career after that. Foundational, and my ability to set up again, not going to solve world peace, small foundation to help the cadets do the things that they need to do and get the Mizzou cadets the leadership training and to go above and beyond what's normal. That's been a very happy thing for me to do. The second fund that I set up was for the College of Arts and Sciences and for the dean. I see Dean Oker here standing in the back today. I'm thrilled that she is the dean of the College of Arts and Sciences. As most everybody here would who know me would be able to tell you that that's my view. And again, in that fund, that doesn't solve world peace either. But I strongly, strongly believe in a liberal arts education. More people in our country and more people in our world need to have the foundations of reading, of thinking, of writing, of communicating, of taking in thought that's different than our own, and being able to take that thought in and deal with it, and deal with the other 7 billion people on the planet, the other human beings that we get to be on this planet with while we're here. And the third fund that I've set up, or helped to set up, is in honor of my absolute mentor in life, Georgeanne Porter, who was the director of admissions at Mizzou when I was here. And I still have the letter that she sent me, just like she sent it to everybody else who was admitted to the University of Missouri in my class. But I got to know her so much better. And it started out with me volunteering for the university as a student, volunteering to work with her and help set up an organization called Student Outreach, and which helped students go out and recruit other students, other high ability students, particularly minority students as well. And back in the late 1980s at Mizzou, that was even a priority then, like it is today. But that relationship transcended. It just transcended. And she and her husband, Gil, who was an English professor, Gil Porter, became absolute mentors in life for me and for my children. We remained close friends throughout the years, and she recently passed away, way too young, very unexpectedly. And so the least that I could do was to set up another endowment and a scholarship fund in her name to perpetuate the things that she gave to me. Human beings helping other human beings be the absolute best that they can be, to live up to their potential. Again, there's not enough of that in this world, but we can all do more to do that. We can all do our little bit. And frankly, all of the little bits that people have done for the university have now added up to $1 billion. And that's a lot of money. But what I never want to lose sight of for this university is it's not about the $1 billion. It's not about being in this wonderful Jesse Hall. It's not about going out and walking around the columns or going to a football game or a basketball game. It is about the human beings that touch and impact other human beings, and the legacy that those small little ripples in the pond go out and have impact for forever. I love this university, but what I really love are the people here. My peers when I was a student, and now my fellow alums, the faculty, the staff. This is what makes a university great. This is what makes a university be able to have the impact, a lasting impact on education. And I will, for my entire life, be appreciative of that. I'm now going to introduce somebody who has a job who's beyond difficult. As I was talking with her earlier, she teaches people how to teach math. And if you deconstruct that and go reverse engineer that, which I'm not good at math and certainly not engineering, but math is difficult. Teaching math must be insanely difficult. And teaching people how to teach math is an order of magnitude which I can't catch up to. But Susan is the endowed chair, the Richard G. Miller Endowed Chair in the College of Education, and I want to welcome her up to hear her story. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you for your inspiration. I'm so happy to be here. I'm Susan Empson, and I hold the Richard G. Miller Endowed Chair in Mathematics Education in the College of Education. I'm proud to be here as one of the many beneficiaries of the university's endowments. It's exciting to be a part of a university that's so dedicated to its mission and that is so well loved by its community. I wouldn't be here at Mizzou if it weren't for the endowment. I had a well-established career at the University of Texas at Austin when I was enticed by Catherine Cheval, now the Dean of the College of Education, and her colleagues to come to Missouri to occupy, I think that might be the right verb, the Richard G. Miller Chair in Mathematics Education. So I'm here. I've been asked to share today Some of my thoughts about how the endowment has supported me in my program. Before I do, I'd like to tell you a bit about the research I do to provide some context for my remarks. So, as Mark mentioned, I study the teaching and learning of mathematics in elementary classrooms, with a focus on children's thinking about topics in what we in the field call the number and operations strand in the curriculum. So things like adding, dividing, multiplying, subtracting. And including my favorite topic, fractions. My work has been driven by an ongoing fascination with children's mathematical thinking and also by the goal of empowering teachers to value, understand, and make sense of children's mathematical thinking in their teaching. My ultimate goal is for children to truly understand the mathematics that they learn and to see themselves as capable mathematical thinkers and problem solvers. And thinking about how this endowment has supported me in my program, many things came to mind. I'll focus on one that's a pretty tangible thing, but it also has ramifications for improving teaching and learning in Missouri and beyond. Education research is ultimately about putting into practice what's possible. With the endowment, I've got the support I need to take my research this further step. When I undertake a research project now, I don't necessarily have to stop with my results. I can also think about the designs that would allow me to, my results to be taken up and used in schools. This kind of research-informed design work is actually quite time-consuming and labor-intensive, but it's also very important to ensuring that our research results make a difference in schools. For example, I'm in the midst of finishing up a 4-year study of teaching that's responsive to children's fraction thinking. We focused in this research on understanding the professional skills that teachers need in order to make sense of and respond to children's fraction thinking during instruction. These skills include, among many others, how to question children about their thinking to reveal what they understand, and how to decide what problem to pose next to build on that understanding. We've done a good job documenting these professional skills, and now one of our challenges is how to help more teachers acquire them. To address this challenge, I designed, with the help of my research team, a set of story problem cards based on principled frameworks of children's fraction thinking. They're meant to be used by teachers. I actually brought a set here. They're quite portable. They're meant to be used by teachers for instruction in fractions, and their design actually requires teachers to make decisions as they use the cards. Their decisions may be more or less informed by teachers' knowledge of kids' thinking, what they know about individual kids, but that's part of the intent. The cards give teachers room to grow, and at the same time, they are immediately usable. Because of their low overhead and portability, these cards have the potential to be taken up and used in places beyond the immediate context of our research project. For example, teacher leaders in California and Wisconsin have already ordered sets of these cards for their teachers. An entire district in Arkansas is using these cards. One of my colleagues in mathematics education here at Mizzou plans to use these cards in his undergraduate pre-service teacher education class, which is taught at a local elementary school where the undergraduates work with kids as they have math buddies, and they who might be struggling in math in some way. So these cards will allow them to make choices about what problems to pose to these kids. So as these cards are taken up and used by teachers and teacher educators, the possibility for new research arises, creating what I consider a virtuous cycle of research, design, and improvements in schools. It all works together, and the endowment helps to make that possible. In the case of pre-service teachers, for example, a possible research question might focus on the development of their decision-making. How do they make sense of kids' thinking? How do they decide what problem to pose next? What does that look like as that skill develops, so that we can help other teachers better develop it? These cards, of course, are not the only way that we're addressing the challenge of designs that help schools take up and use our research. It's a small but tangible example. However, they do represent one of the things that the Richard G. Miller Endowment has made a difference or made possible in my research, and in particular in the reach of my research program. Without the endowment, I wouldn't have had the resources to devote to their design or to the design of other kinds of things that help to take the research results out to the schools. I'd like to close by expressing my gratitude, my personal gratitude to Richard Miller for this generosity. Thank you, Richard Miller. I think you're here. For making this research that engages with the very real problems of schools in this way possible. I am happy to be a part of the university and consider myself extremely lucky to be part of a faculty in the College of Education that cares deeply about making a difference in schools and doing it in a way that's informed by research. I have the honor of introducing our next speaker, Alicia Curran. Alicia's son, Sam, is on the autism spectrum, and he receives care at the Thompson Center. Alicia now works at the Thompson Center as a project coordinator for Autism Speaks Autism Treatment Network. The Thompson Center was created through endowed gifts from Bill and Nancy Thompson, and Alicia's personal story speaks directly to the center's work to improve the lives of those impacted by autism. Welcome. Didn't get to pose any practice.
Good morning. So today, if I decide to go somewhere unfamiliar, I have the luxury of typing the address into my an app on my phone. And it not only gives me the directions, but it tells me how many miles I'll have to travel and gives me an exact arrival time. And if a detour should arise in my journey, the system will adjust the navigation so that I don't end up completely lost, or at least that's the hope. I wish that type of personalized navigation was available when our family started the journey of raising a child with autism. When my son Samuel was diagnosed, I didn't understand anything about autism. I was completely overwhelmed because on top of trying to digest the diagnosis and try to figure out what autism meant for Sam, I had to try to figure out how to access services and supports through unfamiliar and complicated systems. And this was a crucial step to ensure that Samuel's needs were met so that he had the best chance of reaching his greatest potential. But this left me feeling confused and helpless as our family started really facing a journey of unknown. But thankfully, a generous gift was given to the university in 2005 from Bill and Nancy Thompson. A gift that provided amazing support, ensuring that our family did not have to go through this journey alone any longer. The Thompson Center for Autism and Neurodevelopmental Disorders became our family's navigation system. The Thompson Center provides world-class autism care through clinical services, research, and training. It's dedicated to delivering high-quality clinical services to individuals with autism and other neurodevelopmental disorders, and help families get connected to the services and supports they need. Additionally, they're dedicated and committed to helping the world better understand autism and what treatments are most effective, as well as increasing the knowledge of professionals who work with children with autism so that the families and children can receive the best care that they deserve, no matter where they live. So I didn't just pull this information off the website or snag it or snag a brochure as I was walking out the building. I know this all to be true because of my personal patient experience with the Thompson Center and because I am blessed to be a team member. Now I want to be clear, I am not saying all these really nice things because they pay me. We have been patients at the Thompson Center far longer than I've worked there. In fact, the care we received is exactly why I wanted to become a part of the Thompson Center. See, I have an insider scoop, and I will tell you that the level of devotion our faculty and staff have for our patients and our families is incredible. We are continuously raising the bar and trying to think of ways to improve the care and support that we give to our Thompson Center families. It's exciting for me to watch our programs grow and allowing our mission to be carried outside of the Thompson Center doors. Our Training and Education Division provides state-of-the-art training to professionals at the state and national level through programs such as Train Experts in Autism for Missouri and Autism Friendly Businesses. Our Echo Autism program is an innovative training approach where we leverage video conferencing technology to mentor and coach providers to deliver best practice autism care across the globe. We have a robust research department that collaborates with researchers who work very, very hard to demystify autism and identify best treatments. We're part of a large genetic study, which is called SPARK, where we're helping to recruit 50,000 participants across our nation. Our center has been recognized as a center of excellence by Autism Speaks, allowing us to carry the prestigious title of an Autism Treatment Network site for nearly 10 years now. Clearly, the Thompson Center is leaving a footprint in the autism industry. I can honestly say that the Thompson Center has changed the trajectory of our family's journey. They've guided us during times of celebration and been the crucial, needed support in times of crisis. This is not only a service that's unique to our family, it's part of our TC mission to make certain that all children and families are well served. There are many autism centers across the United States, but we have never felt compelled to go elsewhere because we have all we need right here in the heart of Missouri. The Thompson Center isn't just a building full of clinicians and staff members. It truly is a beacon of hope. I don't know if Bill and Nancy Thompson anticipated the impact of their gift, but from our family's perspective, it has been instrumental in transforming what started out for us as a journey of unknown into our family's greatest adventure. Thank you. Tom?
I'm feeling rather humbled and unworthy of closing this ceremony because I feel like any of the three individuals you just heard from, we could have dropped the mic right there, and that would have been the case for the need and the importance of endowment. One of the things we wanted to do celebrating this landmark was hopefully educate the public, because endowment's not so clear. Why is that important? Why is that a priority? But also personify why the impact. Everybody's for more money. $1 billion is a lot of money, and it's a great landmark. But when I hear these stories, and honestly countless others, it's extremely inspiring and makes me feel very blessed to be here. Just a couple of things about our endowment. We have over 3,800 endowments that range from $25,000 to $30,100,000 established, and now has grown in the Reynolds Journalism Institute. There's a good backstory that you can ask Dean Mills or Colin Kilpatrick about why the 100,000 was added, but we'll go into that later. But they range big and small, and they represent incredible impact for the university. And so we just wanted to show a few stories along the way. But as Mark alluded to, many of our peer flagship institutions have much larger endowments, and that provides them a competitive advantage in recruiting quality faculty and students. And you heard about one case where we were able to steal someone from Texas. So we're excited about that. But we need to replicate that. And the exciting thing for me is, as I've said several times or many times to our campaign cabinet, I've had the opportunity to work at 6 different universities, so I've had some perspective. I would put our Mizzou alumni and friends and supporters up against anyone in the country. Frankly, the only reason our endowment is $1 billion and not at the level that Ohio State or Michigan and some of the other great public universities are is just because we started later. They started campaigns in the 60s and 70s. We started our first major campaign in 2000. And so we just are behind the curve a little bit, but we're catching up. And Mark is a wonderful mentor and friend, and also inspires me. I agree with you. I think we're just starting, and I'm excited about working on the second $1 billion part of the endowment. Again, not because of the dollar amount, but the impact you've heard today. And I want to add that this endowment note, the campaign support, has really countered the narrative of some of the stories you've heard around the state about Mizzou, about enrollment and budget and other things. And I've even heard some people rooting against us along the way. And I've said a couple times, for all those people who count us out or root against us, you're going to be sorely disappointed, because Mizzou's been through a lot worse. This is a demonstrative showing the impact that Mizzou alums can have. And finally, I want to say that to return to the opportunities, I've had the honor of working with thousands of alums over a 32-year career, and I find it really exciting to see people like Mark Wilkins here and other donors who are giving to an endowment that is going to be around for 25, 50, 100 years. Mark's never going to meet or know the people he's helped through his support. 100 years from now, when we're all gone and many of these buildings are going to be gone, those endowments are still helping people. I find that incredibly inspiring and makes me feel very blessed to be at Mizzou and do this work. So with that, I will say we have some of the media here. We'll do questions afterwards, and we'll go from there. But I want to thank all of you for being here. God bless Mizzou and MIZ. All right, thank you very much.